Hello guys, it's Chowmaster. I have another BakuTech review. This time we have Naga Daja. So this is actually the last BakuTech I have to review. Don't worry, I'll talk about that at the end. I don't have plans to stop reviewing BakuTech, although I'm always inconsistent with these. But anyway, we'll get to that later. So for now, here is Naga Daja. So it looks really nice, just in its ball form. I like these designs on the sides here. But yeah. So one thing to note is in my Griff deck review a couple of years back, I did say that Ogre Leonis was the only 36mm Bakugan. That's not true. This is a 36mm Bakugan. Or I said it was the only 36mm Chaos Bakugan, my bad. This one is also Chaos and 36mm, so yes, this is the other one, Naga Daja. It is an interesting Bakugan, so let's open it up, just watch this thing open, it's something else. So yeah, it just flies open like that, it's fun. Has two manual parts, and they just kind of pop up like that. Also, G power is, there you go, 660. So pretty good actually. And you could just see this thing is ridiculous in terms of size. So like if you had this thing on the card like this, you know, horizontally it is ridiculous, but even vertically this thing, it takes up more of the card vertically. Like look at this thing, that's just insane. And if you have this in kind of like diagonal or something, like you could just tell this thing, you know, occupies a ton of the card. And if you can position this thing correctly, like even like let's just say you have the card positioned, and you open this guy like this thing is going to be blocking everything. Like this is just a wall of a Bakugan. And yeah, so putting him here, I guess I'll just leave him like this. I mean, this thing, yeah, I think this is just a good spot to leave him while I talk, because it's just so ridiculous, and it just shows how ridiculous this thing is. So, Naga Daja. How good is Naga Daja? But first, what do I think about it? I'm going to give this thing a 9 out of 10. I just like it because it's giant. That's all there is to it. Like, it looks really cool too, but it's just like a massive Bakugan, and I think that's cool. Now then, how good is it? Okay, so I usually try to not use half scores, but I'm going to use a half score here, especially not when they're this high up, but I'm going to give this thing a 9.5 out of 10. This thing is kind of ridiculous, and it's easily the best Chaos Bakugan. So if you're using a Chaos team, this guy, if you don't have him on your team, like what are you doing? Unless you just don't have him, this guy is not terrible compared to most 36mm Bakugan in terms of price, but like, I mean, it's a 36mm Bakugan, it's not cheap either. But yeah, if you had a full Chaos team, this guy should definitely be on it. And then, yeah, aside from that, just in general though, this is a Bakugan that even in a mixed attribute team, I think is worthwhile to think about, at least consider. Do I think it is the best Bakugan ever? No. Even for defense, I think something like Jaiba Fudo is better, but that's more pure defense, not occupancy. I mean, you also have some other great Bakugan that do occupy a lot of the card, like Ospress, for example. Ospress is insane. I do think Ospress, I might want to say it's better than this. I don't know. I also want to do a Bakugan tier list event, or a BakuTech tier list eventually. If I ever get around, I hope to get around to do that, but it'll take a while. But this thing, I don't know if I want to put this thing above or below Ospress. They're both really crazy and both really good for occupancy. Yodansha 4 also has an occupancy mode. That thing has a lot of utility, which is nice. But even compared to other defensive Bakugans, like Bury Beyond, like, I think Bury Beyond for pure defense is maybe better, but this thing also can be used as a wall, just because of how much it occupies, which I would argue maybe overall even makes this thing better than Bury Beyond, which is something else. I think I give Bury Beyond a 10 out of 10 in my review. I might have to, again, that's why I want to do the tier list, just so I can kind of make a more definitive version of my rankings. I don't know, this thing is just crazy. I mean, it's a gigantic Bakugan. It takes up way, way more of the card vertically, which is insane. Like, usually Bakugan that are long aren't long enough to take up a significant more just space than cards are vertically. It's crazy. I can't believe how ridiculous this thing is. And again, it is kind of thinner though, so of course like, on these sides here it is, leaving some space open. But like I said, if you even just like put it on the side here, again, this is going to wall out anything from on this side of the card. This thing could definitely lead to some nice and easy double stands, which is always cool. I'm just a little bit hesitant to give this thing a 10 because, again, I just think that there are better Bakugan in the grand scheme of things, like Gogaryu or Sanzu Holobos, but those are, not occupancy defense, those are different, but still. I just think that there's better stuff out there, technically, but if you're looking for a defense Bakugan, this is a top tier choice for sure, and is something that should always be considered in literally any team, which says a lot about it. So I think that's basically everything I have to say about Naga Daja, because, I mean, again, it's like I've said multiple times, it's just ridiculous to how long this thing is. Alright, so, aside from that, though, that's basically everything I have to say about this, but kind of the thing I want to talk about, so this is actually the last BakuTech I had to review. There are no more left at this point. I've reviewed everything in my collection in some capacity. Mostly. I still have some single Bakugan left, but I've covered at least one of each type of Bakugan. Even if it's not the original, I have covered it maybe in like I guess one good example would be St. Aquas. I've covered St. Aquas twice now, both in the hybrid deck and the Super 5 set. And, I haven't covered the original, but I've covered every Bakugan in some capacity. So, that's something. However, I'm actually not going to be done with BakuTech reviews. Now, I don't know how long it'll take me to finish all of the ones I have planned, but basically, I want to cover everything in their original variants. Like I said again, St. Aquas. I have the original, I want to cover the original one just on its own to give kind of a proper review of it. I'm not going to do this for every Bakugan as of now. So for example, if a Bakugan is exclusive to a deck or is meant to be in a deck, like the Rise deck for example, things like Natsunagina or Gusburnin, which are exclusive to that deck, or even Rise Dragon, because it is kind of it's Rise Dragon's deck effectively. Those things I'm just going to leave as is for now. I won't cover those Bakugan again, maybe eventually, but for now I'm just going to leave them alone. The main ones I want to cover are things that I have not covered their original variants. Things like St. Aquas or Zeta Municus. That's a big one. I really want to cover Zeta Municus on its own. So there are quite a few Bakugan that I have to do that with. Also, there are a few reviews. I think, some of my older ones do vary in quality, but there are a few that I really, really don't like and want to go back over again. Not many. There's maybe like 5 or 6 that I want to redo. So there are still BakuTech reviews coming. I'm not done. And again, maybe eventually if I want to go and review every single Bakugan on its own, then that'll be an entire project afterwards. And the only other thing I have to say is Bakugan Armors. I have yet to do any Bakugan Armors videos aside from those unboxings. I want to make a big Bakugan Armors video where I just take a look at the entire series of all 7 of them. I don't know if I'll ever do individual videos on them or not, like this, but I do want to do something with Bakugan Armors. I just don't even know where to start with that, though. I have some ideas, so hopefully I can start doing that kind of soon, at least. Hopefully, because it is a really, really cool... this what I have in mind I think would be really cool and would be fun, because I haven't seen many people talk about Bakugan Armors, so I would like to do something. I just want to do the series justice, though, because, again, I don't think many other people talk about it, so I want, if we're getting like one big dedicated video on it, I want to make it good. But yeah, basically that is everything I have to say about that, and yeah, this was the last, like, I guess, necessary BakuTech review I had, so yeah, after this will just be technically Bakugan I've already gone over, but I want to go over them better, just in general. And again, Bakugan Armors at some point would be great. Hopefully, I want to do it this year. I hope to do it this year, but it is already September. Hoping for this year, but if not, I need to do that very soon. So yeah. Anyways, that's all for this video. So yeah, thanks for watching, and bye-bye.